Hello, everybody. We are live today. It's after a long weekend. I don't know if you'd had all 4 days off, but it is Tuesday and it's warm. Well, no, it's 4 degrees Celsius. It's just really sunny outside. So it just looks like it's warm and it's exciting because spring is here. And we're at the end of April already. So one more week of April, and then we are moving on into May, which is insane to think about. Our March market stats as a month is coming out this week. So make sure to subscribe to this channel to make sure you get the notification when that video gets posted. So today we're going to talk about the real estate market, what's happening at Edmonton in the single family home market. And I have some stats that we'll pull up. We'll take a look at some of the communities and what's selling, what's not selling, what's happening. Is there multiple offers happening? If you're looking to buy, do you have to expect to be in multiple offers? If you're looking to sell, will you for sure get multiple offers? Those are all questions I'm going to talk about in this video today. And if you're watching live, feel free to put a comment in the comment section to say hello. And also, if you have any questions about the West Southwest market, that's where I focus on talking about. If you're looking for areas that are not in those pockets, if you send us an email, we will be happy to connect you to get some information that way. So let's talk about how many active listings we have right now. We have been increasing over the last like a month or so, which is normal and it's not concerning at all. It's still leaving very limited single family home properties for sale. If you look at our monthly market update, you'll see that it's just over half of the listings that are actually single family. I think it might be even lower than that right now. So there's not a lot of inventory slash houses for sale that are single family. Single family homes are homes that have no condo fees. So single family homes isn't just a house with a garage in the front or the garage in the back. It can also be a townhouse with no condo fees. It could be a half duplex. Whatever the case may be, it does not have condominium fees. So if you take a look at the surrounding areas, all the house price or house inventory level is still very similar than it was the week before. If we take a look at the pending sales, so how many sales went under contract in the last 7 days, you'll see that it also was pretty similar to the week before. We're pretty consistent in the mid 200s. I would actually guess that we might go up a little bit more, and typically May is like the busiest month. Now, we've had years where February, March, April all very busy, but May tends to always be that heightened time. And it's also the last time because in June it starts to like slow down. And that's just in general based on the patterns I've been seeing over the years is June tends to slow down. Why May? Why is April, May right now so popular? Well, if you take the house in 30 days from today, it's the end of May. If you take the house in 30 days in May, it's the end of June, which is the end of school. And sometimes people are wanting to do all that moving at the end of school, be able to take off and still have a summer holiday. So you'll see that activity rise. So you think, Melody, if that's the case, then why wouldn't June sales be high because people can move in July? Well, I don't know. The numbers don't lie, and it's typically May that is busier. If you take a look at how many sold happened in the last 7 days compared to the week before, slightly a little bit less than the week before. Again, nothing too alarming. And you might be wondering, hey, if the number was higher, why is it lower? When you look at sold, why isn't it pending and sold almost similar? Well, one, you have some sales that actually do fall apart. We're still seeing financing not go through. So if you're a buyer and you have not done your pre-approval with a reputable person, because sometimes even a bank can screw up the pre-approvals. Trust me, I've seen it more than once. Then the deal doesn't go through because you thought you could buy the house and you couldn't. Or you went and looked at a house without doing the pre-approval, so you have no idea other than just dumping a number on the computer on an online mortgage calculator thinking, hey, I paid more in this for rent, so why can't I get this? Then you find out when you put the offer in and you submit it to a mortgage broker or bank that maybe you didn't work long enough, or maybe you don't have a job, maybe you're on leave right now. There's so many different factors. Maybe your debt's too high and you can't actually get the mortgage. So financing will be a factor. Then the other thing is sometimes people are pre-approved. Why don't they get approved? Well, that maybe something was not done correctly or communicated correctly to you. Maybe the credit pull wasn't done and you told them something and it was different. So it's important to make sure that finance piece is so important. That's why we recommend the mortgage broker that we work with, because that does not happen. If it's a pre-approval, it's done. You're ready to go shopping. Let's go. So it's important to get that done. Second, home inspection condition could have something happened, it scared someone and they walked away. A home inspection isn't for if the house passes or not. It's for you to see if you understand the home you're buying is that's what you're going to be getting, and that's what you need to work on in terms of for the futuring. If you're buying an older home, knowing that you'll have to save money for the shingles if they're not in good shape, or maybe one day windows will have to be replaced. Do they have to get done right away? That is a conversation with your home inspector to find out the urgency of these items. So sometimes buyers get scared and they walk away. Sometimes they're larger items like having the plumbing or electrical that needs to get changed. Those are pretty significant issues. Or asbestos gets found. That's in the 50s homes, right? So that could happen. If you have an offer with no conditions and it's sold immediately, that number will show up here too. Conditional homes that had a condition for 2 weeks and their conditions are being lifted, that's the number you're seeing here. So these are maybe some deals that happened a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So you can kind of see that it kind of moves along and transitions into that. Now, if we take a look at solds from last year to this year at this time, we've been seeing that the numbers from last year are higher, and that's still the case. We are still selling more homes last year than this year, even though the rates are lower this year than last year. I've been saying this time and time again. The rates is not what actually sold properties. Last year, there were more homes for sale, and so more homes could actually go under contract. This year, there's less homes for sale, so there's less homes to come on the market. And it is moving quickly if it's in a certain price point. So if you're watching live and you want to know what the hottest price point is, can you comment? If you watched me before, I'm pretty sure you would know. I've said this time and time again of what is the most popular price point for single family homes in Edmonton. If no one's going to respond, I will respond. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. It is $400,000 to $500,000 is the most popular price point in Edmonton. Does that mean you will get a full house? Yes and no. It depends on the neighborhood that you're looking into. The newer neighborhoods, that's going to get you more along the lines of a semi-detached home or a house with the garage in the back. If you're looking at older areas, 100% you can get a full house. The condition of the home, it's not necessarily going to be renovated, right? So there'll be work required, maybe a lot of work, maybe just lipstick, which is paint and carpet. But sometimes it's also more like a kitchen reno, a bathroom reno. The deck needs to get redone. The lawn has to get redone, graded. Maybe there's a lot of work. These older homes have the bigger yard, so you're paying for also the land size, not just the house. So you have to keep that in mind as well too. I have pulled up Rosenthal just because, that's the area that I'm always in. And you can see that the price points of homes for sale right now, the A means active, P is pending, so they're under contract. And then the S's, oh, we didn't look for S's. So these are not the ones these are not sold. Let me just pull up here. So you've got in here 32 opportunities to buy in Rosenthal at the moment, 3 homes that are under contract. I'm going to look at what's sold in the last 30 days. And you're going to see 10 homes sold in the last 30 days in Rosenthal, ranging from $429 to $710. So it's quite the range of homes. The average price selling here is $543 in the last 30 days. Now, if you're looking in an older neighborhood, let's take a look at Aldergrove. It's pretty close it's just across the Henday from Rosenthal. You will see 4 homes sold in the last 30 days. And the price points from 423 to 535, so an average of 490. And there's one bungalow, two stories, a split level. Show you this. This is the bungalow that sold. And keep in mind, some of these garages back in the day, there's a door here, but they're not necessarily attached to the house. They might be, but not always. So this is what it looks like inside. Definitely needs some love and updating. And I don't know what the condition physically would be until you actually walk in, but you can see the older windows and older bathrooms. But these are all cosmetic things that can be changed. They're going to cost a bit of money. The windows are expensive, and so are the bigger doors. And then that's an interesting picture. I also don't know why the cord's hanging out like that. You got this thing hanging out here. So when you see stuff like this, you also will have to wonder if there was ever permits done on this, because there's an extra structure here. That one's sold. See how it looks like this? It's also making the house dark inside, and I don't know if there was a permit on this, to be honest. It kind of looks slopey and weird. But the real property report is where you'll see if it's compliant. If it's non-compliant, it likely means that this didn't have a permit on it. So is it easier just to pull that down and open it up? Maybe. Depends on what you want to do. See, this is the door to the garage. So the garage is actually coming and connecting to the back here. That's a bungalow. Let's see how big it was. 1,456 square feet. Let's take a look at this two-story here. Doesn't look like a two-story, but from the outside. When you go look inside, there you go. So it's the open to above. Carpets are older. This is very similar to layout I sold last year in St. Albert. This is the style back then. You can see these curtains as also indicative of like almost 90s. So if this is truly a home built in the 90s, you're going to want to check and see if there's any polybutylene, poly B piping, because that's going to cost you quite a bit of money to replace, especially in a two-story, because the plumbing lines are behind the wall. So that's important to note. It looks like they redid this floor at one point. And yeah, this layout was quite popular. It's a sunken living room. So in the basement, because it's sunken living room, the basement will be a little bit more sunken there. This isn't a full sunshine ceiling, but it has a sunshine light, I guess, in it. But you can take this out, and this deck looks like it needs to get replaced too. But this is, I mean, for the price that you're getting, this is someone probably going to be renovating this entire home. Wallpaper, oh my gosh, have you ever tried to remove wallpaper? It's a bit of a pain depending on who installed it. Then you've got the ensuite here. Some of these windows have been replaced. Ooh, wood paneling basement. So this basement makes me believe that this house was built in the 80s. Oh my gosh, all the wallpaper. And in the bathroom too. I'm very curious to know. So that one sold for $490. It was listed lower, so it was in multiple offers, 14 days on market. And I'm just going to take a look at the year. 1985, so not 90s. It was not quite there yet. There's another home that was a split level home. It was listed and sold almost 16. It was 16,000 over list price that it sold at, and the split level. And I'll show you the pictures. So here is the photos. You can see it backs onto this. The kitchen's been redone. But see how it faces the side of the house? A lot of our families like to have the kitchens facing the back of the house to see the whole full backyard. This, you'd only get to see the side yard, but you get a large pantry here. Looks like a mudroom area. Floors have been redone. Interestingly, the outside just looks still super old. They didn't do the outside, but they did the inside. Yeah, that's an interesting layout, because this is the front door. You walk in, and then to your right is the kitchen. So this is not a traditional place where a kitchen would be found, but it's sold over list, because at the end of the day, people love the finishings and love that they don't have to do anything. They did not update the bathrooms though. This is old and original. Staging is very powerful. You can see it just kind of brings everything together. This is also old, so they haven't touched the bathrooms, but they did the kitchen. And they did the floors and the paint. So some of the split levels here have an opening here, so you can see down from the kitchen. So this is really interesting to me. I don't know where the kitchen is. That's a bar. Bedroom. So you see the window here is below, like you can see how this room is below grade. So square footage here looks small because they count above grade. And because this bedroom is below that whole story, that level is below, it doesn't get counted in the above grade total square footage, which is interesting because there are a lot of split levels that have the third level above grade. And so those get counted and they seem bigger, but they're the same size or maybe even smaller. It just depends on that. The laundry is with the bathroom, shower, basement with the panel in the corner. So this is interesting because there's an opening here to see the basement. On your utilities. This is really interesting. I've never seen this before. They built like a sunroom outside and have a foundation wall. This white stuff you see, it's called efflorescence. That means that at one point some sort of water was there. But yeah, that's an interesting, I've never seen this before. The sunroom with half of this, like it's weird because this looks like a foundation wall, not a retaining wall. So was there a house here at one point? I don't know because that doesn't seem like it did. Very interesting. But anyways, that house did sell for over list price. And then, but it was $515 is what it sold for. Then you have another 2-story that sold. Oh, this is the one with the chicken coop that we are looking at with clients. And it actually sold below list price. So that's interesting to see there. So, if you're looking at buying a house, it doesn't mean you have to bid above. Because in this situation, we saw a couple that sold over list and then one that sold under list. And if there's competition, that also makes a difference in terms of that. So do you have to expect to be in multiple offers? Typically, if you're buying anything from 4 to 6, you probably will be, but not always. Because if that house needs too much work, maybe there's not as many people that want to compete with you against it. Depends on the area, right? If you're looking at some of these highly coveted areas like Laurier Heights or Crestwood, they're always going to need a ton of work and you're always going to have lots of people because you have people might just tear the house down, might do a full gut reno, might do a massive remodel. There's lots of different options. Some areas are more busy in that than others. If you're a seller, do you expect to get multiple offers between 4 to 6? Probably yes, if you are priced properly. You can still overprice your home, like you just saw like there, and then not get multiple offers. So you have to be really, really careful about pricing. I never recommend pricing above what you've seen things sell for. You need to let the market decide that. And it doesn't seem like it makes sense, but you actually need to price a little bit lower than what things have sold for to really be aggressive. You can price right on the mark. And you still would get it right now at this time of year. It's April, May. It's going to be busy. But if you try to do stuff like that when the market gets slower, it definitely will kind of take a turn. Now, between 6 to 700,000, that price point is slower in Edmonton, and then over 7 gets even slower. So let me just show you. I'm going to look it up and let you know what it is. So in Edmonton, if we look at 600 to 700. Exactly. In the last 30 days, not 119 sold in that price point. 7 days, 15. So 15 homes from 6 to 700 sold. Let me contrast that with 400 to 500. 61 houses sold between 4 to 500,000 in the last 7 days. And between 6 to 7, that was 15 houses. So you can see how drastically it changed. And then let's go higher. So if I go 700 to 800, that's 12. So you can see 6 to 7 and 7 to 12 starts to drop. And I'm sure you realize that once we get higher than that, like 800 to 900, 7. So it's the bell curve, right? It's dropping. And don't forget, I said it was, what was it? 51 homes that were in the 4 to 5. And then 900 to a million, 5. And then anything over a million, there was 16. So let's see, up to 2 mil. There's 15. Oh, 15. So like, I think that means there was nothing over 2 million in the last 7 days. One house over 2 million sold in Edmonton in the last 2 days. And that was in Brander Gardens. It was a $3.7 million house. So it's not even a $2 million house. It's quite a bit more. And triple attached garage, 4,455 square foot, 2-story. So things are selling. I can't believe that sold as high, but that's Edmonton. There are homes for you to afford in the 400s, and there's homes that are in the over 3 million selling, but those ones take a lot longer. Like this one was on the market for 94 days. And that's the last listing. I don't know if they had relisted it at one point. Take a look at the history. Yeah, it was listed in January of this year, and it took a while and some price changes to make that change. So, things are still moving in Edmonton. It is that time of year to sell and buy, and your specific area, your situation, all is going to make a huge difference in terms of if you should expect multiple offers or not. When you're over 600,000, likely not, right? Like people are a little bit more risk adverse. They don't want to be competing unless that $600,000 house is worth a lot more and you've just aggressively priced it. That's the only way that you'd see a huge change. But you want to take a look and know what is selling. That's what's selling. Now, what about 3 to 400,000? That used to be a popular price point in Edmonton before our house prices changed. I just want to see what that looks like. So 300 to 400,000, 25 homes sold in the last week. And that is contrasting to the 4 to 5, which I believe is half. So it definitely went down because there's not as many homes for sale in that price point. 62 is the 4 to 5. So 300 to 425. And let's see what's for sale in that price range. You do have 136 options in Edmonton, and that's all of Edmonton for single family between 3 to 400,000. They range in areas. You're looking at a lot of the areas that are more, if you looked at the crime map, areas that you might not want to live in. So it's important when you're looking at that, if you're coming from out of town, you're thinking this price point's great. Just cross-reference it to the police map. I would cross-reference it to schools that you want your kids to go to, the location, getting you from point A to point B. Where does your family, where does your friends live? And think about all those things when you're considering where you want to live and invest your hard-earned dollars, because those areas will not rise as much as some of the other areas in the city as well too. So hopefully today was helpful, and we'll see you guys next week.